Okie dokie, I'm here. So... So this right. What we used to do is that we wrote one story by parts. The story makes different types of storylines. No. Someone starts the story, then we write by turns. Welcome back, thank you. Who is the magical fluffy was but 5 minutes ago the chat was melted like candies and glow up the stream. So let's listen what we... Oh, Violently Happy still not here? Violently Happy, where are you? Скрана горячая. Ну чашка в этом стоит, в... пристройке. I'm listening. Okay, let me read it. Да в пристройке литровая. Это не хватит. Ну и та грязная. Угу. Oh, you know what? I don't have a mood today, definitely. Oh, and yeah, welcome back, Violently Happy. Hello, Salip. So let me read the story which we did, and I will probably stream because I want to cry. I'm tired, they shitty, people strange today, definitely. So, what happened? Nothing, just not a good day. So, because it's me, that's why I want to cry. Hug. Wow. Dear, it breaks my heart in 1,000 parts to see you like that. Talk to us. No, Josie. Talk didn't help. Because, exists some state of your mood when you don't want to talk and everything going from the S and you want to cry. That's nothing talking about. And I don't want sitting here like that potato with sad face. And trying to hold my tears. Because it's been no mood for you, no mood for me. So it's been terrible to have such a stream in that case. Can we do something to make you happy? What? Hug. Meteor shower? What? Oh my god. So, okay, gonna better let me read the story what we have. Are ready? Once upon a time. Oh my god, let me do like that. I was checking if such a comment existed. No. Why? This comment should be exist. So, okay. Once upon a time, there was a princess called Tori, and Princess Tori was singing wonderful songs, Apple Pella, to all the lawyers in the spooky dark cave. Suddenly, out of nowhere, one of the lawyers grew hairs out of his nose, and they kept growing and growing until the whole town was filled with lawyer nose hair. The nose-haired lawyers started to walk like zombies around the city, whispering things like, "We need to find the bleeding mushroom forest, or else we'll conquer the planet and convert every living being into our spicy." But what the nose-haired lawyers didn't know is that Tori has one special son, a magical one that has the power to defeat any creature that listens to it. So she called Luna to make some chords on the piano, and then Tori started to sing. The whole town was surprised by the incredible song. Princess Tori was afraid of the nose hair, but she knew that the song would defeat them and make them all go away. She opened the ancient scroll, which contained the lyrics, and began to sing. "Oh, nose hairs, you cannot stay. You are too scary. Go away. Do not return. Do not come back. Not the blonde ones and not the black." Suddenly there was one of this monster, not black, not blonde, but a red-haired one, that was immune to the sin effect. There was the time when things really started to be scary. It was time to call the reinforcement. The legendary army of the Mausitos goes on her way, led by the violently happy and the Antarctical generals to help her. And the piano going more loud, the song getting more power, the guys at the guitar, drums and saxophone, and Tori and the people around start to sing. "Fucking off, red nose hair, stay on hell, damn bitch fair, keep you in all hey, or else we make you be so afraid that you're gonna enter in your own ass. So go to the hell, damn bitch red hair, your crying blood will fuck them. But this time it was a different song. They had to change it to defeat the red-haired one. The beat was taught. They had to defeat it with another strategy. One that required the use of really bad words. Ones that would make the it rounder and go away. When she started to hear, all the raw things were just about to happen. A mysterious portal opened, and a demons came from there. The demon said, "What the hell are you, my bitch daughter, doing here?" And took on their mushrooms from hand all of them. They started to scream so highly that windows around has broken, and their form and river of blood were all they drowned and returned to the homeland. The hell. What the fuck, oh my god. But this is interesting. This is better than what? Thank you for dancing in the chat. So, how is our story? Oh my gosh. Laughing you to your hand, we'll keep the hand together. I swear I would like to have the words to take your soul over the mood and make you feel the warmth of love and admire we will feel for you. Admiration. Oh, thank you. So, do you like our story? Do you like how I sung it? Do you like the... whatever is that was? Improvisation. So, by the way, if you can find some story, you can share and I will read it. Can you find some story, spooky story? I will read it, but not too long. I would like to read something. So far we're still here. That was a great story. I like the cursing part the best. Fucking up the red nose hair. Going in the hell. Oh my god. So yeah. What do you have for your lunch, Salip? I have tortilla chips with guacamole. Oh, bon appetit! That's tasty, yeah. So guys, can you find some spooky story? I will read it. Yes, it's tasty. What the fuck, Silip? I every time told you bon appetit, but you never tell me thank you. I will stop to do it. Fluffy do have red hair exactly like the story. Little Galaxy, are you have problem with colors in your eyes? My hair not red. Let me share the story. Thank you, Josie. Daily, are you on mushrooms? Lol. What the fuck that comment should to do? Not today. They comment apparently doesn't exist. Not today, but it looks like. I'm sorry, I'm going. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable, little galaxy. I never uncomfortable. Lol. Optimus Prime? Oh. Josie, everything is good, don't worry. Every people have some days when they not in the best mood, you know. I'm human too. I'm not happy and like laughing 24/7. So, every people have such a day when no mood. Just for you, I'm trying to be not sad, because I don't like, for example, look on sad person or whatever. So it's better to look on some happy person to improve your mood, you know, because people come to enjoy the stream and not looking on your pickled face. Everything is good, don't worry, guys. At least will be tomorrow. I hope so. I go back to work now. See you. See you. Don't tell me not to worry about you, cause it's like asking me not to breathe. I've just sent 2 short stories on Discord. Oh, okay. Cool, let me read it out. Just a second, I finish some stuff on my pumpkin. And thank you. Oh, I need to draw more lines here. Oh, he has no color. Okay. Not bad. And here. Awesome. Hi, Jerry. Welcome back. Love it. Do, 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 do. Oh my god. Oh my god, I almost wash my brush in my cup where I drink, actually. What the fuck? Oh my god. Let me finish this pumpkin and I will read the stories. Just let me do some little hearts. Little parts. To make our pumpkin more beautiful. And I will show you how it looks like. one more. Thanks. Let me do these little things. Just to finish this beautiful pumpkin. I'm back. Did you read the story yet? Yeah! I read it! Welcome back, Licked Wisdom. Oh my god. Where you was? You disappear. I like how you decor your room. Thank you. Hello, Golden Child. How you doing? I need to add more beds also. And I think I will add a little bit of one. Boy. By the way, do you know how will your costume be for Saturday? Of course, I know, lol, I do not know what costume be on Saturday. You will see. I had a sudden million things to do. Oh my god, I can feel it. Any clue you give us? Nope. You will see on Saturday. I love it too, because she did it all by handmade. She's very creative. Thank you so much. Oh, we celebrated Halloween here, but celebrate real Halloween. Lol. So, yeah. Next streams which we will have all be in some costumes. All be in some outfits. Interesting. So, yeah. Recommend to come and see. Oh my god, I close it. I like creativity. What are the costumes? Are they a mystery? Can we guess? No guessing. I will not tell you. So... they are not mystery, but you know, like... I think it's be fun. Like this, I think, can be... Damn, I still don't like how it looks like me. Let me do it! Interesting, but ooh, yeah. We haven't the Just Chatting Halloween stream now. In about some minutes she read the story, short spooky stories we put on Discord. You can also post there if you want. Yeah, some stories I will read. So let me a little bit to make the tail of the pumpkin more better. I don't like how it looks like. Do-ga-doo, do-ga-doo. Yeah, and I will put some color 5 here. It will look more better because I don't like the color it's big here. Looks strange. Damn boy. Damn boy. I made a mess in the kitchen. Oh my god. Why? Look at this pumpkin. Yeah. Looks nice, right? Nice light. It looks wonderful. Thank you. Some poor flying here. Now I'm back. Oh my gosh. Hey, welcome back. If you don't have tail, don't have pumpkin. Yeah. Hello, Hero. Good morning. How you doing? I made a mess in the kitchen. What did you do on your kitchen? What did you eat? Chicken. My sub have just ended. I have to travel 600 kilometers to have a connection without restriction to sub. I'll try to go next week. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, your sub is finished. Chicken with mustard and tomato and lettuce salad. Oh, yummy. I will have on my dinner chicken with some salad with no salad because we have only cucumber. So I will just have chicken with cucumber on my dinner. Hello, chicken with cucumber and some cookies with cottage cheese. It's so yummy. Like it is. Yeah, it's so yummy. Sounds yummy. Cool. You paint and draw. So good. Thank you. Nice pumpkin. Yeah. Hello. Need coffee. Lol. Take it. I completely understand you. Need coffee. Salad. Let's go into the Cariñosa's house and ask a hug. Josie. What the fuck? Whoa. Salad is good. But meat needs salad. Meat needs vegetables to go in stomach and replace, reduce, recycle their good to recycling in the stomach. Meat need vegetables. It's not a hug. I'm going to cast the costume. I think Tori's spooky win costume is a cat. Oh, cat, interesting. Or a cucumber. I think that cucumber. This is my Halloween costume. Be scary. That cucumber looks really scary when you open your fridge in 1 year and 1 year cucumber was lying down in your fridge and you like open it and it's like it's good for rabbit. Rabbit. Love it, and everyone. Hello there, Dragster. How you doing? I'm good at you. I'm okay. I'm alright. I'm on the way to the club. I don't understand the colors here. It looks like a shade. How to make it beautiful here? What the color is it? Oh, it should be brown. Where's the color for? I dropped a bowl with sauce I had from another meal. It was there. Lol, oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I think she'll maybe use her real costume, a witch costume, because y'all know she's a witch. That food is just fell on us. Oh my god. Costume, the evil wrinkled cucumber. Oh, they can't help. Whoa. Oh. I post my story in the Discord and write the story. Okay, little galaxy. The best costume will be on the cat gut without of the cat gut. Oh my god. Oh my god. So let me read the story which Josie sent. So the story named Who's in Bed? Who's in Bed? A father went to say good night to his 7-year-old son, very well knowing that if he didn't, his son would have trouble sleeping. It was a nightly routine between them. He entered the dimly lit room where his son waited under his blanket. With the first glance, the father could tell there was something unusual about his son tonight, but couldn't put his finger on it. He looked the same, but had a grin that drew from ear to ear. "You okay, buddy?" the father asked. The son nodded, still with the grin, before saying, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." The father chuckled a bit before getting on his knees to check, only to satisfy his son. There under the bed, pale and afraid, was his son, his real son. He whispered, "Daddy, there's someone on my bed." "Bitch, it's scary. Oh my god." What the fuck? What you want, my baby? Is my connection, are you seeing bugged too? Seems like everything good with kinda good with mine. I am I lagging for you guys? Just no. It looks good here. Oh, okay, okay, good. I have before write story before it's my first one. Okay, it's good. My baby. My baby, be my, be my, be my baby, and drive me crazy, 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 crazy. I had a solar storm incoming and had blackouts. Oh damn! Shitty shit. How's she doing? She doing nice. Finally eating meat. It's so good. Like mixed meat. Like there's not only meat. There's mixing what I did for her. Damn, I'll search another satellite to connect. Oh, damn. Fluffy is snowing? No. Why it should be? This is autumn here, thanks God. It's not snowing. Heck yeah, yeah, I'm so happy for that. So, so the next story. Oh no. She's caught in. Just start talking about that she's fine and she started caught in. Why did you do that? Everything okay? Boo boo. Boo boo. Oh my god. I'm here again. There she is. Welcome back. Is she okay? Does she have a fireball? No, last time she caught in, but without like fireball. Like it stuck something, but there is nothing when she caught. I don't know, it's a little bit strange to me. Like but thanks to God she not just caught, like, you know, it's really like she wants something to throw up, but there is nothing and she like so, but it's a little bit strange. I don't know. Need to think about this. Okay, so next story. The cabin. Are you ready? A hiker decided to go on a hike by himself. Sometimes he was not very used to. The whole day was normal. Trees and bushes engulfed his surroundings. He enjoyed being outdoors in the mountains. Nothing seemed strange to him. That was until he was making his way back to his car. He figured an 8 hour hike was good enough. The sky was already getting dark, and he needed to get back fast. What was odd was how much he didn't recognize the trail back. He began not to panic. Night had already taken over, and all he had was a flashlight and no clue on how to get back. He knew it was already too late and too dangerous to keep going through the perilous forest. He began to worry that he would have no shelter for the night when almost Likely enough, he stumbled across a broken down cabin. It was dark and seemed like no one has visited it in years. But he knew it was the only place where he could rest until daylight, especially since his flashlight was running out of battery. He knocked on the door a few times, but no one answered, so he let himself in where, strangely enough, a perfect bed fitted for one person awaited him in the center. He knew that if the owner came back, he could explain himself. He was sure that the owners wouldn't mind, or was even probably dead. So he went ahead and got himself comfortable in bed. As he tried to sleep, he couldn't ignore the collection of paintings around the room. Portraits of strange-looking people, all peering at him, each wearing a smile that sent chills up his spine. Not too long after his exhaustion from the hike got the best of him and he was able to ignore the faces. The next morning he got up early and was shocked to see that there were no paintings around the room, but windows. The faces was in windows. Someone was staring at him. What the fuck? My cat caught randomly too. Really? Well, I'm a little bit worried because before it was never like that. She caught in, but every time with something if she need to furball going away. But this time she just caught in, but nothing. She'll be right okay. I think she need to drink some water. With a little galaxy. Oh my gosh. The father was shocked and immediately looked underneath the bed. It was dark under there, but he could see two glowing red eyes and an awful lot of strange nose hairs. What the fuck, liquid wisdom? Oh my god, okay. And story from the little galaxy. Once upon a time, one world have a darker jungle, and they live a badly darkness demon. And they live a many peoples, but they never see before light in life. And they don't know how look those life. So once they walk in many times per day for searching something to rise up. So one day those believe is true. They saw something glowing inside of the dark rainforest. It's a little castle. It's so cozy. The people are searching the freedom. They slowly close into the little castle. They saw mind-blowing thing in the castle. They found a girl living alone, but the girl had a little two friends. One is alive, Apple walking with her and little magical dragon, but surprises will happen. The girl will see them and says to come into castle, and they all tell them the truth of life. The girl has something hidden power, so the girl was planned to destroy the darkness demon. So she rise up and she shows her hidden magical power. She started to sing, the place was started to glow, the demon was so the place and the right to her place. The apple was fight together with the girl and the dragon too. She started to sing loudly, but the demon can't handle it. The demon was finally lost and go forever from the world. The people finally found the real freedom and they saw the light in the life. After that, God was arrived to the world and gives to that girl name. The name is Fluffy. People and cheer up. Fluffy, Fluffy, Fluffy. The world get it to amazing place in the galaxy. The world called Fluffy Tory. The prince's name was famous all around the world. They finally found the actual magical angel of God, Fluffy. The old people are live so happy in the world, glowing up, grow up, and water was clear up. All was happened. It's a turn into magical world. Little galaxy. What the fuck is that? um, mm, good job. Okay, I'm here watching in 160 to have stable video connection. I hate that. Fucking solar blackout. This is very spooky shit. Damn, sounds like Moonface. 160, damn. But I can hear Tori, and that's the important thing. I see then the stream in good resolution when I see the VOD on YouTube. Yeah! So it's good. At least you can listen. Is it okay? Yeah, normal, normal. Do you have, guys, some story to share? I will read it out. So don't be shy. Hello. You come here? You feel better? Can I write? No, thank you, little galaxy. I need some story from the internet, you know, scary one. Like, do you like the Master Puzzle? Yeah, it was amazing, it was fun. I read before the end and like, what? Sun under the bed and the face is a window. I'm like, what? So, you got more if you like them. Yeah, if you can, it's be amazing, I will read it. I like all the crazy creative writing. Oh yeah. The last one was so good. Yeah, it was so unexpected, like, damn. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. My beautiful cat, coming to our wonderland. Lunita, Monsita, Meosita, Preciousita, Beautiful Sita, like Sita. Thank you. So, waiting for the stories and start to paint Wars Pumpkin. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. Oh my god, I made the floor or table Jody, not floor. Oh my god, it's a bit terrible if I do the floor Jody. Let me start to paint. Let me start to paint. Let's listen so far some stories until I paint this pumpkin, and then I will read the stories which sent Josie. Fluffy, what are you going to do on this Halloween? streaming. I'm going to guess the Halloween costume again. Let's try. Well, let me turn on some spooky story. Any cosplay? No, I don't think so.
I recently got a job at a Mexican joint in a neighboring town. The area was a bit sketchy, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. I was also pretty desperate for money, so it's not like I really had a choice. Plus, I figured working nights wouldn't be so bad, since I'd have most of the day to myself. The restaurant itself was decent enough, but the manager, Carlos, was, well, shady. He always scheduled me for the worst hours, kept me late, and never seemed particularly concerned about following the rules. He was the type of guy who made you feel like you couldn't trust him. But like I said, I didn't have much of a choice. I needed the job. One night, while closing up, I started hearing these weird noises. I was mopping the tiled floor in the kitchen when I first heard it. As I was mopping, I picked up on these two muffled sounds that sounded like soft thuds and scraping. They were coming from below the floor. It was faint at first, but I knew I wasn't imagining it. The thudding and scraping would alternate, but I was positive that there were two distinct sounds I was hearing. I listened for a while, and the noises continued for a minute before stopping completely. It startled me, but I brushed it off as something small, maybe an animal outside or the pipes settling. But it kept happening. The noise would start up when the place got quiet, just as I was finishing up my cleaning. After a few nights of this, I told Carlos about it. He shrugged it off immediately and told me it was nothing and to stop worrying. He went as far as to say the restaurant didn't even have a basement. That's when I got a little suspicious. I knew he was lying because I had literally seen the window wells around the back of the building. I wanted to tell him that, but held my tongue. I figured I'd give it another day. Maybe the noises would stop on their own. Of course, the noises continued. I complained to him the next day and told him that the place must have a basement since there were literally windows below the ground. That's when he gave me this strange look and insisted that there was no basement. He told me that the previous owners of the building had sealed it years ago, and no one can get in or out. Then he told me in a firm voice to just focus on my job and stop poking around. The way he said it, so dismissive and firm, gave me a bad feeling, but I didn't want to lose the job, so I dropped it. I figured maybe it was just some animal that had somehow gotten in. It was just weird that Carlos was so insisting on not checking it out or taking me seriously. For the next few days, the noises persisted. Every night it was the same, those strange, low thuds and occasional scraping, like something or someone was moving down there. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, but I tried to ignore it. Then one night after closing up, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to take a look for myself. I walked around to the back of the building where the window wells were. I crouched down and tried to peer through one of the windows. It was pitch black inside, and I couldn't see anything, even with my phone flashlight. Just as I was about to give up, a light flickered on inside the basement just for a second. Then it snapped off before I could see anything clearly. I froze, my heart racing, unsure of what I had just seen. I rushed back to my car, too freaked out to go back inside, but I didn't tell Carlos. Something about the whole situation made me feel like it was better to keep quiet. I was not prepared for what was about to happen, though. The next time I closed, I couldn't resist the urge to go check out those windows again. I fully admit that my hands were shaking as I walked around the building. I knew nothing good was going to come from poking around. I crouched down to get a good look. This time, as I leaned in closer to get a better look, I saw it. Pressed up against the glass was a face. It was a man, but not just any man. He looked completely deranged. His hair was wild and his face was filthy, like he hadn't bathed in weeks. His yellow eyes were wide, staring right at me through the glass. He bashed his head against the window and gave me this demented smile. I screamed and stumbled back, totally losing my shit. I ran for my car without looking back. My hands shook as I fumbled with my keys, but I managed to get in and speed off before anything else could happen. The next day, I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I went straight to Carlos and told him everything. To my surprise, he didn't even try to deny it. Instead, he sat me down and actually told me the truth. He admitted that the person I had seen was actually his brother, who had been living in the basement. He said his brother was mentally ill, dangerous even, and Carlos had been hiding him down there to keep him out of trouble.
Oh
The
my
basement had
god.
been sealed off to the public years ago, but Carlos had found a way to let his brother live down there, away from prying eyes. He urged me not to say anything, and said he'd appreciate it if I forgot this whole thing ever happened. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to quit right then and there, but I couldn't. I was so strapped for cash that the idea of looking for another job didn't feel like a real option. So I stuck around, convincing myself it would be fine as long as I stayed away from the basement. I tried to keep my head down and avoid Carlos, but the whole thing left me on edge. A few weeks later, something happened that made me regret staying. It was late, and I had just finished closing up. As I walked to my car, I noticed something or someone lurking in the tree line next to the parking lot. It was just a figure, but I knew in my gut it was a person. I had a feeling I knew who it was. My heart started racing, but I pretended not to notice. I kept walking, trying to stay calm, but then I heard footsteps behind me.
Oh
I
my
glanced
gosh.
over my shoulder, and there he was, the same man from the basement. He was hobbling strangely toward me,
Oh,
but clearly
shit.
moving as quickly as he could. I scrambled for my keys and managed to unlock the door and throw myself inside just as he reached the door. He slammed his face against the window, smearing it with dirt and sweat, and started pounding on the glass. I screamed, but I couldn't think straight. All I knew was I had to get out of there. I sped off as fast as I could. I'm not sure how I made it home that night without crashing. I've never been more scared in my entire life. I still thank God that he had some kind of limp, otherwise he would have definitely caught me. That was my last night working at the restaurant. I called the police from the safety of my apartment, but I never went back. I didn't want to know what happened next, whether they found the man or if Carlos got in trouble for what he'd done. I just couldn't be involved anymore. Even now, though, I can't shake the feeling that Carlos might come looking for me one day. I don't know if he'd go to great lengths to do something like that, but it's a thought that sits in the back of my head. I never found out what happened to the restaurant, Carlos, or his brother, and honestly, I don't think I want to. Maybe I'll take a drive by that restaurant sometime in the future, but for now, I want to stay as far away from that place and those people as possible.
Lol. Terrible story. What the fuck? Strange guy in the basement. Oh, muffled sounds. That scary. I posted some stories again. They're short but spooky ones. Thank you. Will read it. Let me finish the pumpkin and I will read the stories. Okay, I found the story. Hope it's okay. I posted in Discord, guys. Okay. Damn. Dark color. Don't want to gun. Going in hell. Ouch. This and strange man in the basement. At this time I get yerba for my mate. Yerba? Oh, it's drink. What? And also they brought me a bombilla with a glass for their... Oh damn, amazing, enjoy! The last words posting is dark. Last words? Fluffy, may I see the art, please? I says, you know, it's not problem here. Ooh, yeah, boy. So I'm drinking very cold there now. Amazing, enjoy. I'm watching some creepy videos and listening to fluffy spooky stories too. Oh wow, they are from Reddit. Oh nice. The pen is looking really good, very nice. Thank you so much. That looks amazing, Terry. Thank you. Let me finish with this color and I will read the stories out. It's not bad. Have you decided the color of the cat? Yeah, it's be kinda black. So I would like to be the black one cat. It's be so beautiful and contrasting. So this be black. I get mine frozen headache. Oh, from the drink. Your mind is frozen. Frozen from the drink. No, it's not purple cat. Yeah, no purple, what the fuck. I find some another colors. I will do what I want. And no shitty purple cat. Black cat in our area. I love to feel that, like when you drink, eat fast ice cream. Oh damn, I don't. The brain getting frozen. That song all of you, my guys, I posted in Discord. Oh my god, what did you post there? So, let me read the stories. Okay, I posted on the song chat. Not. Okay. Oh! Violently happy also shared the stories. So, okay, are you ready to listen? Let's go. Hello. Hello, the relaxing vibes, good vibes in your channel. Thank you. Hello, Miguel. How are you doing? Welcome in. I'm glad you like it. We will read now scary story. So be ready to be scared. I'll see in a minute. I want to hear the Tori's reading. This one was a painter called Tori. She used the voices to read our story. Then Chet got real scared because the monster's nose hairs and they hid under the rug on the floor. Oh my god, what the fuck? So let's listen. The story named the Red Wristband. A doctor was working at a hospital where the patients were tagged with colored bands: green, alive, red, decayed. One night, the doctor was instructed to get a few supplies from the basement on the hospital, and so he headed to the lift. The lift door opened, and there was a patient inside, minding her own business. Patients were allowed to roam around the hospital to stretch, especially those who have strayed long. The rule was to be back in their rooms before 10. The doctor slimed at the patients before pressing the number for the basement. He found it unusual that the woman didn't have a button already pressed. He wondered if she was heading to the basement too. The lift finally reached the floor, where the doors opened. In the distance, a man was limping towards the elevator, and in a panic, the doctor slammed the elevator button to close. It finally did, and the lift began to stand back up, the doctor's heart pounding. "Why did you do that? He was trying to use the lift," the woman stated, annoyed. "Did you see his wrist?" the doctor asked. "It was red. He died last night. I would know because I did his surgery." The woman lifted her wrist. He saw red. She smiled. "Like this one?" Oh, shit! Oh my god. What a story. Like this one? So, next. White with red. A man just moved into an apartment and heads to the receptionist to get his keys. The receptionist gave him the key with a smile, but warns him not to disturb the door with no number on his floor. He wondered why, but didn't bother to ask. He was too busy with his new apartment to care. After he finished unpacking, he began to get curious. He questioned why the receptionist would warn him of such things, and so he stepped out of his apartment to check the door with no number. Of course. He tried the doorknob first, but it was locked. So instead he got onto his knees and peeked through the keyhole. The apartment he was looking into was empty. His eyes scanned the whole place before stopping at a woman standing face against the wall in the corner. He noticed her pale skin and long black hair before stepping back, suddenly feeling perverted in a way for invading someone else's privacy. He brushed it off, assuming she was someone that did not want to be disturbed. The next day, he got more curious about the woman and eventually went back. Straight away, getting onto his knees, he peeked through the keyhole and saw red. Red! He assumed that the pale woman must have caught him peeking the last time and covered the hole with something red. He left the door alone and instead went down to the receptionist to ask her questions. The receptionist signed and asked, "You looked through the keyhole, didn't you?" He admitted to it, and so she felt obligated to tell him the story. She told him that a couple used to live in that apartment a long time ago, but the husband went crazy and killed his wife. However, this couple wasn't normal. They had pale skin, black hair, and red eyes. Lol. Oh my god. Next one. The puppy in the basement. Mommy told me never to go in the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy, so I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy, and then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go into the basement again, and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands or feet. What boy was making sounds like a puppy, and he has no hands or feet? Oh my god! So something from the rabbit. Wait, rabbit. Reddit. Hello, something from the rabbit. Oh, hello, Ed. How are you doing? We're reading the spooky stories. I gave my husband an ultimatum today. When my husband got home from work, I was waiting for him in the bedroom. Hey, hon, he said as he walked through the door. What's all this? He nodded to where I sat on the end of the bed with a confused look on his face. Are we going on a trip? He asked a moment later. While my husband was at work, I'd prepared an ultimatum for him. He had two choices, each represented by a suitcase which was positioned to either side of me. We might be, I replied cryptically. It all depends on which suitcase you pick. Yours. I waved my left hand indicating the suitcase monogrammed with his initials. Or mine. I waved with my right hand indicated the suitcase monogrammed with my initials. Why do I have to pick? He asked. You have to pick because each one of these suitcases represents our marriage in a different way, I explained. If you pick your suitcase, it means you don't love me any longer and don't want to be married to me, in which case you should take the bag and leave. I paused to let my words sink in before continuing. Sink in before continuing. But if you pick my suitcase, it means you do love me and will do anything to save our marriage. I waited for him to respond. Are you serious? He asked. I'm deadly serious. I gave him a stern look. Pick a suitcase, I demanded. I choose your suitcase, he pointed. Now will you tell me what all of this was really about? I walked up to him, gave him a kiss, and then returned to the end of the bed. Of course I will, honey. I unzipped my suitcase and showed him the body of his mistress, which was folded up inside. Since you choose to stay with me, I smiled, I'm going to need your help disposing of this. I'm going to need your help disposing of this. Oh shit. Damn, it's terrible. Then boy. The story is really good. Just a second. Crazy beach. Yeah, definitely. Oh my god. How fucking loud. Okay. Nunchucks. Michael Froelin Young has a strange experience with her 2-year-old daughter. Submitted to movie pilot. I wonder what was inside his suitcase. A gun. I'm not sure though, but it's terrible. Oh shit. What the fuck? Poor man. When my daughter was 2, I found her twirling paper towel tubes tied with twine in the air. I asked her what she was doing. She said she was practicing her nunchucks. I was very confused as she'd have no way of knowing what they were. I asked her what she meant, and she said that Adam had taught her how to make them and showed her each night how to use them. She went on to say that Adam told her to practice because she may need to know how to defend herself someday. I almost freaked out, but asked her what Adam looked like. She said he was tall, blonde, and had blue eyes. She said, "Mommy, you know how he looks? You know him? He died of a headache." I had to leave the room. You see, for months before she was born, my tall, blonde, blue-eyed martial arts pro friend has died of a brain aneurysm at the age of 27. She has not spoken of him since that day, so I'm not sure if I scared her with my reaction or if she had completed her lessons. What the fuck? Here's my first ever appearance in story time. Thanks for welcoming. Hello. God, oh my god. Yeah. 25 stream, oh my god, good job, Pat. So, Wedding in the Dark. An engaged couple planned to have their wedding reception at their absolute favorite restaurant. But on the day of the wedding, the bridge tragically fell down the stairs and died. Now, it's said that every night after the restaurant closes, the ghost of the bridge walks down the very stairs she fell from and set up in the tables and chairs for the wedding ghost she never got to see. Now that's a horror book plot we'd like to read. What the heck, Crystal? It's like I can't read such a thing. There's no... Okay. Never mind. Whew, another story from the Reddit. Lost messages. I love you, Mom. I can hear footsteps on the stairs. I think he's outside my room. I hear sirens, but they far away. I'm hiding in the closet. I hope he didn't hear me. Hang on, I heard something downstairs. The cops are already here looking for him. They'll catch him. Don't worry, Mom. I'm safe. I love you. The cops said he's some escaped serial killer and he's been breaking into home around the area. Yes, Mom. It's on the news now. I'll keep my doors locked. Fuck. I got 15 because I lost mine because of the stupid solar storm. Oh my god. 15 is also good, Josie. Don't worry. It hurts. Once I lost 65 days stream streak on different channel and this hurt like breakup. Oh, it's so cute, guys. Message are displayed in chronological order with most recent at the top. Oh shit. Damn, boy. Terrible. What the stories? So let me find something to listen. Fishing horror stories. Fishing? Oh my god, let's listen. "45.
There's a nice hidden lake a short walk away from my house in Parsonfield, Maine. I've been going fishing there for as long as I've lived here. It's hidden away from any roads or houses. It has perfect privacy, and I would always be the only one out on the lake fishing. In fact, I would leave my kayak in the same spot by the lake whenever I wasn't using it. It was easier than lugging the thing back and forth from my house to the lake anytime I wanted to use it. I would leave it leaning up against this huge tree every time. The kayak is heavy enough to not fall over from a windstorm or anything. I also leave it covered to prevent critters from taking refuge inside. It was a warm summer's evening. I was out on the lake already for about an hour, and I'd caught a few trout already, which I'd thrown into the cooler. It was dusk at this point. The little bit of light left in the sky was disappearing behind the trees. I was going to bring it in soon, and just then, I heard sounds from the edge of the lake. I turned and saw someone standing at the edge of the water, tipping a barrel of some kind over, pouring its contents into the lake. It looked to me like they were polluting the lake with something. I took it upon myself to yell out, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" The person looked up at me, and he then ran into the woods, with the contents of the barrel still pouring into the water. I looked more closely at the liquid being poured out into the lake, and it looked like a dark red liquid. Though it was dark out, so I can't say with 100% certainty if it was red, but it was very dark. I felt a sense of unease creep up throughout my body. I decided I wanted to leave. I'm a big nature guy though, and seeing people littering or polluting the environment makes me sick. I genuinely couldn't resist shouting something out to that person, but I didn't feel comfortable here any longer. I planned on reporting this to the Department of Environmental Protection. I paddled the kayak back to my usual spot. I took all of my gear off the kayak before pulling it out of the water. As I was putting the cover over the kayak, I heard one single snap of something not far away, like the crunch of something under a person's shoe. I turned and was about to say who's there, but I decided against it. I finished covering the kayak quicker than I ever had before. I didn't even bother standing it up to lean on the tree this time. I left it on the ground. I picked up my gear and cooler and started quickly walking out of the woods and onto the road, which led to my house. It was only a couple minutes of a walk and I was back home. I kept looking over my shoulder the entire time though, thinking someone was behind me. I put my gear in the shed real quick, then went inside. I never locked the door so quickly. I was genuinely spooked. I rinsed off the trout and put them in the fridge, planning on cooking them tomorrow. Tonight, I just heated up some leftovers. As the food was in the microwave, there was a knock at my front door. The fear and dread that I was feeling the entire walk back to the house returned in an instant, and my suspicion that I was being followed home was basically confirmed. I mean, who else would be knocking on my door this late? My lights were on, my car was in the driveway, whoever it was knew I was in here. I had all the shades closed though, so nobody could look inside.
Oh my
They
gosh.
knocked on the door again. The microwave beeped as the timer hit 0. I'm sure whoever was outside heard it. All the windows were cracked open, and a moment later, there was a knock now on the window, and a man's voice said through the window, "Excuse me, I think you saw me at the lake earlier. I'd just like to explain myself." There was absolutely no chance I was opening the door to this person. For them to stalk me to my house told me this was a dangerous person. They repeatedly knocked on the window and kept yelling hello through it. I decided to acknowledge him now that he was getting more aggressive. I yelled, "Yo, leave or I'll call the police." I intended to either way, but it was still a threat to get him to leave. The man responded calmly now, saying, "Sir, if you could just open the front door, I'll explain everything to you." I repeated my threat, and I didn't hear his voice again. At this point, I shut and locked every window in the house and turned on the AC. I also made a report to the non-emergency police number, detailing both the barrel being dumped into the lake and the man coming to my house. I also made an online report with the Department of Environmental Protection. Making these 2 reports honestly made me feel a little better about going to sleep that night. But thank God I'm a light sleeper. In the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., I heard a crash from downstairs. I immediately sprang out of my bed and grabbed my Glock from the closet. I heard someone's attempt at quiet footsteps coming up the creaky wooden steps. I had my Glock loaded in hand as I stood behind my dresser right by my closet, aiming at the door. I heard very slow creeping towards my door. My bedroom door is closest to the stairs, so it was naturally the first door that they would approach. And sure enough, I heard the doorknob slowly press down, and then the door pushed open. I saw nothing but the man's silhouette enter the room. I flicked on the lamp next to me so he could see my gun, and I screamed, "Get on the ground now." He raised his hands in the air and seemed for a second to be motioning for me to calm down. He had a small blade in his hand. I told him to drop it, but then he said calmly, "I'm leaving," and he turned and ran for downstairs. I yelled at him to stop, but he clearly took the chance on me being too afraid to pull the trigger. I heard him leave through the front door. I ran downstairs to lock the front door right away and then call 911. My living room window was shattered. Glass was all over the floor. I kept my sight on that broken window until the police officers showed up. I had to explain that I already made a non-emergency report of what happened earlier. In fear of waiting too long by morning for the barrel to be gone, in the darkness, I went with 2 of the officers who showed up to my house to where I saw that man dumping the barrel into the lake. But after 20 minutes of walking around looking for it, it was gone. The man must have made sure not to leave it behind. I gave my best description of the man to the police for their report. The man was a short, bearded white man with a receding hairline and glasses, wearing a black flannel shirt and black pants. After the police left, I stayed in the living room all night with my gun next to me, watching TV. No way in hell was I going to sleep with a broken window and some nut job out there. At dawn, my brothers came over to help me fix the window. My brother Dale stayed at the house while my other brother and I went to Home Depot to get the window and parts. Dale stayed at the house with me for a few nights till things cooled down. My not-so-wild theory is that the barrel contained human remains, possibly dissolved in some kind of acid. Why else would that man follow me home and then break into my house to potentially murder me? Trust your gut if something feels wrong. I knew if I opened my door to that man, something terrible might have happened to me.
Oh my gosh. Spooky! Damn boy, you have a Glock.
Ever since I was a little kid,
Why
all
would
the
you
older men in
call
my
it
family would take me
ghosts?
fishing every opportunity they got. It was like some family ritual. I, being the youngest, meant that I was next in line to become an expert, like all of them claimed to be. The ones who took it the most seriously were my dad and his brother Matthew. Our houses were decked out like the ones you've probably seen on fishing shows. I won't go into detail, but if you took a step into my house, you'd instantly be able to tell my parents spend more time on the water than on the land. This is actually his story, not mine. My dad's a pretty hard guy to scare, but let me tell you, whenever he tells this story, it's like he's a different person. He doesn't like talking about it, but every so often, at a family gathering or a special occasion, one of my relatives will ask him to tell it, and he will. My dad's name is John. He was fishing with my uncle Matthew and their close friends Rich, Jeff, and Monty. They had set out early, before the sun had even broken the horizon, heading to a remote spot they had all agreed was prime fishing territory. This place was a couple of hours boat ride from the nearest marina, tucked away in a secluded cove-type area that few bothered to explore.
What the fuck?
It was known among them for its abundant bass and the occasional pike. The day started like any other fishing trip, with the boat cutting smoothly through the mist rising off the water, everyone sharing stories and jokes over the hum of the engine. They anchored the boat in a familiar cove, surrounded by dense forest. Monty was the first to crack open a beer, even though it was so early in the morning. My dad tells me all the time that Monty is his wild friend, the one who tends to drink a little more than he should. They fished for hours, the only sounds being the occasional splash of a lure hitting the water, and their own laughter. Oh, and the occasional crunch of empty beer cans that they were drinking like water. As the day wore on, they had their fair share of catches, each one sparking a small celebration. As dusk approached, the light began to wane. A dense fog rolled in from the water. My dad describes it as the boat literally being swallowed by fog. Rich, who was the most experienced fisherman of the group, kept saying that he had never seen fog so thick. That's how unnatural it was. Jeff, the jester of the group, was almost as drunk as Monty, both of whom were seemingly unfazed by the fog that had ensnared them. It was starting to get dark. They had originally thought that they could just wait out the fog, but it didn't seem to be going anywhere. My dad and Rich agreed that Matthew should just try to drive the boat out of the cove and into the open ocean, where the fog probably wouldn't be as dense. Matthew agreed, but even though he was typically the most cautious, he only narrowly avoided colliding with the shore. He refused to risk further damage to his prized boat. They reluctantly came to terms with the fact that they'd probably have to spend the night on the boat. My dad made the point that they'd need to tell their families about the situation, and of course, they had drifted into an area of the cove that had no signal. My dad needed to handle some business at work, so neglecting the problem was not an option. He offered to go ashore in search of a signal, and Rich and Jeff said they'd join him. Matthew would stay back to guard the boat and an increasingly inebriated Monty. My dad, Jeff, and Rich made their way over to the shore and jumped out of the boat, only getting slightly wet. My dad made a point of snagging the emergency flares in the boat, just in case they got lost and needed to signal Matthew to come find them. The three of them made their way into the pitch-black woods, lit only by the shine of their phone flashlights. My dad and his friends have all done their fair share of camping, so it wasn't like a forest scared them too much. They began trekking uphill, hoping that higher ground would give them a better chance of finding a signal. My dad always made a point of emphasizing how dark, yet eerily foggy the forest was. You could practically feel yourself slicing through the fog. Just as they were adjusting to the dense atmosphere, a series of strange clicking noises began to permeate the silence, first emerging from directly in front of them before encircling them completely. These sounds were unlike any forest sounds they were familiar with. It was rhythmic yet erratic, as if someone was tapping out a code meant only for the woods themselves. The distinctiveness of the noise made one thing clear: it was human-made. The realization that they weren't alone hit them like a freight train. Rich, the most seasoned of the trio when it came to outdoor survival, whispered urgently for them to turn off their flashlights. "Don't give away our position," he hissed, with a note of genuine concern in his voice. As the lights switched off, the darkness became thicker than the fog. The clicking noises stopped abruptly, replaced by a silence that seemed to weigh on their chests. Time lost meaning as they stood there, frozen, unsure of their next move. I'm sure they were all thinking the same thing. The idea that they might have stumbled upon some kind of clandestine gathering or a woods cult was terrifying. Then, as suddenly as it had stopped, the silence was broken by rustling noises, this time much closer. Then silence again, and then a guttural scream echoed through the trees. A sound so primal and full of anguish that it rooted them to the spot. Before they could process what was happening, rapid stomping noises thundered through the woods towards them. The three men took off, back the way they had came. Acting on fear and pure instinct, my dad fired the flare gun behind them. The flare cut through the fog, lighting the woods up. For a moment, the woods were as clear as day, and the sight that met their eyes was nothing short of horrifying. Illuminated by the flare's red glow was a pack of more than 10 individuals dressed in what could only be described as tribal attire. Some of them brandished wooden spears, but the light from the flare only lasted a split second. Jeff screamed and almost stumbled, but Rich quickly grabbed his arm to keep him upright. My dad describes this part as the most overwhelming feeling of pure terror he has ever experienced. The forest seemed to fight against them as they fled, ducking under branches and jumping over roots. By some miracle, they emerged from the tree line, panting and disoriented but alive. They screamed at Matthew to start the engine, the urgency in their voices leaving no room for question. Matthew complied immediately, and the boat lurched forward just as their pursuers reached the shoreline. In the chaos, my dad fired the last flare into the air, back towards the shore. For a split second, as the flare's light pierced the fog, they saw their pursuers at the water's edge. It was freakish. There must have been at least 15 of them, just standing motionless at the water's edge. The flare's light faded, and it was dark again. Matthew managed to get a safe distance away, and stopped the boat again. After the engine was off, the only sounds were Jeff, my dad, and Rich's breathing. My dad says he wasn't able to process what had happened for nearly an hour. He was functioning off pure adrenaline and survival instincts. They ended up taking turns keeping watch while the others slept, and left first thing in the morning as soon as the fog dissipated. Funnily enough, Monty had passed out before everything went down and doesn't remember any of the details of that night. I still get shivers down my spine when I tell this story. I can only imagine what my dad must feel when he thinks back to it.
Terrible, oh my gosh. I'm preparing for my test tomorrow, so take care, Terry, and have fun, everyone. Have fun, have I do with you preparing for the test. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day there, and good luck for your test. I wish you take a very good test, my friend, and then the force be with you. Yeah! Your test should be amazing. We believe in you. This new story. Yeah, this new video. Thank you. So, next story.
I've been fishing for as long as I can remember. I'm almost 60 years old now, and even though I've been fishing thousands of times, I can't think of any other way I'd rather spend the rest of my life. My kids are all off living their own lives, and things around the house are quiet now. You could hear a pin drop most of the time. Sometimes I miss the old days, being able to throw the pigskin around with my boys in the backyard, but some things just aren't in the game plan anymore. I usually fish with my pals from college, but more often than not, I found myself going at it alone, like a lone wolf. This was one of those times. I haven't stepped foot outside upstate New York in over 15 years. I don't see a reason to. We've got some of the best fishing lakes in the country, and I plan on making full use of them. It was mid-April in the early season, just after the ice out and before May hit. For whatever reason, I decided I wanted a more secluded spot this time around, so I chose a nondescript lake in the middle of nowhere that was pretty small. I drove up an hour before sunrise so that I could be out on the water when the sun poked through. I unstrapped my kayak from the roof of the car and made my way over to the lake. I rode out to the middle of the lake and admired the beautiful early colors starting to paint the sky. It felt like home. You can bet your bottom dollar I'd never trade a day like this for anything. It was a little chilly, but I've got skin like steel. I could tell the sun was just about to appear in the sky, so I started gearing up. I was shooting for largemouth bass, so I made my way back to the outside edge of the weed beds, planning to move back toward the middle of the lake if I got skunked. I went for a 6.5-foot medium action spinning rod with 9-pound monofilament line. I was using a wacky rig, which is a 4-inch rubber stick worm, my go-to for catching largemouth. Just before I was about to start what would hopefully be a swell day on the water, I noticed something strange across the lake. I couldn't quite see what was going on, but I could tell that there was movement. At first I thought it was a fellow fisherman, but curiosity got the better of me. I reached into my knapsack and pulled out my pair of binoculars I used for bird watching. I looked across the lake, and there were 3 figures wearing dark colors and hoods covering their faces. They looked like they were digging a hole or something on the edge of the lake. I kept watching. They finished their hole, and while I was expecting them to put something inside it, they actually did the opposite. One of them pulled something out of the hole, which I couldn't make out even with my binoculars. Then the other 2 did the same, pulling out a few more things that I couldn't quite see. I was beyond confused. Then I watched as they started tossing the items into the lake, each one making a distinct splash as it snacked the water. Something was wrong. Out of nowhere, a wave of fear washed over me. I didn't know who these people were, but I started thinking they might be dangerous. I didn't know what to do. Thankfully, they started to leave without noticing me. I thought about turning a blind eye, but couldn't bring myself to do it. I waited until they disappeared into the woods, and slowly rode my way over. I was shaking at this point. I got to the spot where I was pretty sure they had tossed everything. I started fishing, only this time I wasn't fishing for fish. I was going for something else entirely. I fished around for about an hour with no luck. I had to try something different. I racked my brain, trying to figure out what I could do. And just then, I remembered my depth checker. I had it tucked away in my Volvo. I was determined at this point. I rode back to shore, returned to my car, retrieved the depth checker, and rode back to the spot. I was sweating heavily at this point. I poked around for a bit, feeling nothing but squishy lake bottom. And then, I felt something hard, something metal. I made a mental note of the spot and grabbed my rod. I took the rig off and replaced it with the largest hook I had. I let the spool out slowly, my pointer finger feeling the gentle movement of the line. 50 years of fishing experience was going into this one catch. I felt the slight resistance in the line. It had hit something. I moved the line around slowly, hoping I'd be able to snag it on whatever was down there. After about a minute, the line tugged a little harder than was normal. I was snagged. I reeled in slowly, careful not to drop my catch. What I pulled out of the water had me shivering in my boots. I stared at the black 9mm on the end of my line. Those thugs had thrown a gun into the lake. I didn't feel safe anymore. I didn't even bother looking around for the other items. I reeled the gun into my kayak, careful not to touch it, and hightailed it out of there. As soon as I got to dry land, I called the police. They launched a full investigation and recovered several more unsettling things from the lake. I insisted on watching them conduct their search because I needed to know what was at the bottom of that lake. They found a keychain with like 7 keys on it and a bunch of old, foreign coins from different countries wrapped in a cloth. The most eerie thing they found, though, was a locket. It was waterlogged, so the pictures inside were faded and unintelligible. The police told me they'd contact me if they ever connected these dots to some kind of crime. They never called me, though. But the story didn't end there. One night, I don't remember how many days after this incident, I heard someone in my front yard say, "That was the car, I know it," and then people snooping around my yard. They never rang the bell or knocked on the door, but I heard multiple people circling my house, and then they just left. I have no idea if it were the same people, and if they were, I have no idea if I'm being watched anytime I leave my house. I alerted the police once more, hoping this would reopen this investigation, but nothing became of it once again. I still have so many questions. Why would those items be buried in the first place? And why would those people go back just to dig them up and hide them again? Maybe they realized that there was a greater chance they'd be found in the ground, so they went back and threw them in the lake. Or maybe those items had been in that hole for years, and they decided to dig them up for some reason. All in all, this was the strangest thing that has ever happened to me while fishing.
What the fuck?
Throughout my life, I would go through phases of different hobbies. I'd pick something that interests me, obsess over it for a year or so, and then find something new to keep myself entertained. During the summer of 2022, I was big into fishing. About an hour's drive away is a shore house my family has owned for decades that's on the water with a lagoon and small Boston whaler. My friends and I would take frequent trips there to fish and just chill. It was the following October after summer when my 2 friends Kevin and Arian decided to hit the shore house for a weekend to try to catch some striper, as they're abundant during the fall months. Kevin was an avid fisherman, which was a big reason why I got into the whole fishing craze in the first place. Unfortunately, during this time, our boat was out of the water due to maintenance, so we'd have to fish off the beach and piers. This was no problem though, as Kevin had all the necessary rods and gear to do so. We got together on a Friday afternoon, and I drove us all down. When we got there, we fished during the day off of different piers along the inlet. Night rolled by, and only one of us had caught fish, which was Kevin, of course. It was just a small bass though, nothing too exciting. Bummed about our luck, we decided to stay up late to fish off the beach during the night. Kevin said he knew a good beach spot about 15 minutes away, which took us down a desolate road with woods on both sides. It opened up into a small gravel parking area, or at least what seemed like one. Kevin said since we'd have to walk a little ways to the spot, we should take everything we need now so we won't have to go back to the car to get anything. We planned on staying up to catch the sunrise, so we packed accordingly. We walked about 5 minutes down this path, which opened up into a massive beach. We set up camp, which consisted of beach chairs, a speaker, and 2 coolers, one filled with ice for fish and one filled with snacks, water, and beers. Kevin brought these massive fishing rods that were ideal for beach fishing, and also rod holders that you would hammer into the sand. He also had these little bells that connect to the tip of the rod to notify you of any movement. We all casted our rods, cracked a couple beers, and played the waiting game. Within 2 hours, each of us had caught decent-sized fish, which definitely lightened our spirits. We were having a great time, music blasting, knowing that no one was around on this deserted beach. Mid-conversation, Arian stopped talking, lowered the music, and jolted his head to the left. He asked if we heard that, to which we replied, "Heard what?" It looked like he was concentrating on something for a second, and then said, "I heard someone yell something." We obviously thought he was hearing things or just joking with us, but he insisted he heard someone yell out something that sounded like a yo or a hey. Either way, it seemed unlikely, given that we were on some hidden beach at like 1 a.m., so he quickly forgot about it, and our conversation resumed. It definitely made us more aware, though. A couple minutes later, right after I cast in a fresh hook, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. There was something on the beach in the distance, but I couldn't see what exactly. The others noticed it too. As it got closer, we realized what it was. A person walking towards us. We grew silent and turned off the music. He came up to us. It was a middle-aged white man, maybe 40 or 50. He was wearing a dark blue jacket with a hat and hood up. The way he walked up to us was really sketchy, and he had this intimidating look on his face. We said, "What's up?" kind of awkwardly. He just eyed us down for like 10 seconds and then said in a low voice, "What are you boys up to?" It was pretty apparent what we were up to. Kevin said we're fishing, and he let out some grunt of acknowledgement and nodded his head. He didn't say a word after that and just stood there looking at us, and then the rods, and then the water. We shot each other looks, thinking he was going to try and rob us. There's no way he could have taken on the three of us, though. The bell on one of our rods broke the silence, notifying us that we had potentially hooked a fish. I said we got one, kind of directed at everyone, but mostly that weird guy in hopes that I would get some response out of him like a normal person. I walked over to the rods and reeled in a small striper. When I went back to unhook the fish, that man had turned around and left. We watched as his dark silhouette faded away into the night. We made sure that we had all of our belongings, then sat and just talked about how odd that encounter was. He left without harming us though, so we concluded that he was just some weird man who is now thankfully out of our business. We kept the music off just to be cautious, and cracked a few more beers as our conversation transitioned to different topics. At one point, while staring into the horizon, I thought I heard something in the distance. It took me a second to realize what it was, but when I did, my heart dropped. It was a car alarm. I knew it was mine. It was the only car in that lot, and no houses were out there for probably miles. We started panicking and decided to run back to the car, leaving all of our stuff behind. It took us a couple minutes to get there, and when we did, I was completely distraught. My tires had been slashed, and my driver's side window had been shattered. I got on my phone with the police immediately and told them my location and situation. The operator asked if I knew who may have done it, and we said some sketchy guy came up to us as we were fishing. She asked if I knew where he went, and I said no. Just as I said this, we heard rustling in the woods around us. My heart rose into my throat. I felt trapped. We frantically ran like 200 yards down the road and hid in the trees. I told the operator this, and she said to stay hidden and keep quiet. Within 10 minutes, we saw 2 cop cars speed past with their lights on. We ran back to the car and saw 3 officers searching the area. Multiple things had been stolen, including my wallet, some cash that was in the glove box, and the remainder of Kevin's fishing gear. They found a large knife lying on the ground nearby, which they took for fingerprints and evidence. I told them the whole story with my adrenaline still pumping. They said we were smart to run away and hide, as it's very likely this man meant us harm. Those words made me appreciate my life so much more. The officers made us feel safe, and were nice enough to help us pack up the equipment and carry it back. They took down our information and gave us a ride back to the house. We stayed up all night reflecting on what had just happened. That morning, Arian got us a ride up north, and I picked up my car from the shop a few days later. To this day, this is by far the most frightening experience I've ever had. What was supposed to be a normal fishing trip became a terrifying ordeal that cost me hundreds of dollars worth of damages. I never got a call back from the police, meaning that guy is probably still out there. Needless to say, I gave up fishing as a hobby and haven't touched it since.
Poor guy. Oh my god, I have lunch now. Good. Enjoy. Allowed to have concentrated painting and listening to the story. Her cuteness is overwhelming. Hope one day she can see her through our eyes so she can feel the admiration we feel to her, so that we'll never will be again space to sadness or bloomwood. Thank you, Josie. I don't sell this for ribbons. Oh my gosh. So I finished the forest pumpkin. Let me show you. It looks kinda strange. Let me make it here, and I will show you. Let me do some definitely better, but also. Here we have beautiful pumpkins. So, yeah. Do you like it? I love it. Left big pumpkin and the cat, and plus I need to add some stars. But it looks good, right? I love it. Awesome. So, it's amazing, Tori. Thank you. So good. Thank you. I'm so proud of your skills. Thank you. So. But it's time to say goodbye, Elsa. So, it was so nice to be here, and I hope you enjoyed it as well as me, with our stories, with listening, with story which we came up, the musical ones, the musical one. So, yeah, and then some reading, story, drawing. Hope you really enjoyed it and had a nice time. So just was some cozy chilling stream. We were just most of the time listening something. So sounds like this. Yeah. And thank you that you come. Thank you that you stay with me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for participating in the story. Thank you for sending the story. I also so appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you do to me. I so appreciate it. You are my beautiful, wonderfulest, amazingest people in the world, and I love you so much. And I hug you. So, it's been a good time. Thank you very much. Nice spooky stream, Terry. See you next time. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, have a wonderful morning, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful all on your way. Don't worry, be happy, take care of yourself, and see you later. See you next time. See you on Saturday. I'll be in some interesting costume. Be sure to come, enjoy the music, request the songs, and listening, singing, and talking and have a fun. So waiting for you on Saturday. Be sure to come. I will sing for you. We will have fun and other stuff. So, and be sure to come, because I don't want sitting and crying in a corner, right? I'm hungry as a hell right now. I need to go and grab some food. You remember, I will eat meat with cucumber. Not dead. Not dead one. I try my best to be here. Oh, cutie. So, thank you, chat. Yeah, see you on Saturday, guys. Mwah. You are my beautifulest, wonderfulest people in the world. Love you so much. So, waiting for you on Saturday. Mwah.